Welcome back to the Cruise Dynasty podcast. Back at it again, talking about the fake stuff, but it is playoff eve because when we're recording this, the playoffs start tomorrow, and I can't wait. I'm in, let's see, playoffs in the redraft, playoffs in two of Dynasty, and I'm tanking in one, so it ended up being a good year in the regular season for me. What's going on, Kraft, man?
Nothing but. So you got, what, 4 leagues right now? You're in the playoffs in 3?
Yep. And then
Yeah.
terrible and straight up tanked in another one. First ever rebuild. We're going to see how it pans out. But I'm just ready for the playoffs. Done looked at the lineups 400 million times. Shit ain't changed. Shit's still the same as it was 10 minutes ago. But I'm still looking. I'm hyped.
Me too, man. Like we were saying, everybody in all the leagues have been super quiet this week. I feel like people just been putting their best lineup in and hoping for the best. That's pretty much what I'm doing. I'm in the playoffs in, let me think, 3 out of 4. Also, my Yahoo league, luckily I avoided last place. I finished in 11th, but that was the league I went heavy running back in, and that shit did not work. So
Right.
time to learn some lessons. We've always been running back lovers on this podcast, but I think I've done swapped over a little bit.
The running backs are a shit show. There ain't no doubt about it. But if you get a good one that could carry you, it definitely helps out because I got CMC just carrying my ass and average Joe's. So him and Rashad White being up there at the RB5, they running things for me. So because my wide receiving core is like so because everybody's all, let's see, quarterbacks getting hurt and shit like that. Tyler Lockett getting old, but running backs have definitely carried me this go round. I'll tell you one lesson I've learned. I'm done with fucking tight ends. Like the last 2 years, I've always said that, damn, if this tight end drops to me at this spot, I just feel like I got no choice. I got to take him. Well, I done it with Mark Andrews twice. That shit done bit me in the ass, man. I'm rolling K. Dotton out there.
Even if Mark Andrews was healthy, would you say that it would have been worth it the way he was playing? Like, is it just based on injury, or you think he could have done better with that pick?
I think it's based on injury mostly, but it did feel good when I was like setting up. I can't talk about the draft wise, but when I was setting up my lineups to know I got Mark Andrews up in there, and other players, other teams ain't got that, so it's like,
yeah.
But
even Kelsey this year, I mean, he wasn't worth the pick. Where you picked him at, I don't think.
Right in the first round, yep. So as far as me, as from my lesson, I mean, I pretty much already learned that lesson. And then next year when it comes back around, I'm gonna be saying the same shit. I'm gonna be on the phone with old poor man P. Miller talking about, damn, Mark, if Hawkinson drops to this, and Mark Andrews drops to this, I'm gonna have to take this shit. Just always works out that way.
Exactly, and we've seen like some good rookies this year, rookie tight ends. But as far as like redraft goes, still, I still don't like rookie tight ends in redraft. I mean, Sam Laporte has been great, but all the rest of them have just been so-so. I mean, Kincaid, you could have thrown him in when Dawson Knox was out for a while, but Michael Mayer, it ain't working out this year. But I mean, sometimes you just got to wait on them tight ends for sure. Like Trey McBride, took him a while, but he's here.
And that one's definitely paying off. I think Trey McBride really done went up my dynasty rankings. So
yeah, I'm so pissed that I couldn't get him in dynasty. I offered Dunk a good amount of stuff like a week before. Like Zach Ertz just went on IR, and I was like, man, I'm gonna get McBride now, get him cheap before he starts doing something. And I was just offering him like a late second, an early third, and I just didn't expect it to be this good. I'd have went up and just gave him a first or something, a late first for a guy like that. Right now.
Yep, it's definitely looking good for Trey McBride and Kyler Murray and that little group right there. And they about to add Marvin Harrison to the squad. It's gonna be a good little. Arizona might have a good little thing going on. I guess today what we talk about, we going one last time. Well, I say that, but we might maybe we'll do a little something like combining these classes and doing a little rookie draft type deal like that. We might do a little something like that. But we're gonna talk about the 2023 rookie class one last time. Regular season is over. Mock drafting it or whatever it is. Just if we could go back in time, some things that switched up, like some of them players getting drafted at the back, like Puka and Tank Dell. They've risen up. Even if they don't go to the first round, which they are in the first round, I'm pretty sure, but they've definitely. I mean, you was getting them in the third and fourth rounds, like man. And that startup, I know that startup draft with that one we did with everybody. I took Puka Nakua in the 21st round. And I know he's going in third and fourth rounds of rookie draft, so things are different.
And he was on waivers in we had a 3-round rookie draft in our dynasty league, and he didn't get picked. He was sitting there on waivers, and somebody ended up with Puka. And Tank Dell, I think Tank Dell might have made it to waivers in that one too. Didn't get picked in the top 3 rounds in our rookie draft.
Right. Another thing that's changed is Bryce Young. And we'll see where he drops in our little. Me and you gonna go through a little first round rookie draft or whatever. But
super flex, full PPR.
Super flex, full PPR, tight end premium, the whole shebang. Those tight ends moving on up. Some people were taking some of them in the back half of the first. Like Kincaid was probably going in the back half of the first. I don't think Laporta was though.
No.
If you could go back, Laporta would be up there and just.
We about to figure it out though.
About to figure it out. I say, all right, well, let's just go ahead and go with it right now. 2023. We're redrafting it. One of the last times we're going to talk about it. Super flex. You want to go first or you want me to go first?
You can go ahead. I was just saying we did this same episode last year where we kind of grouped these rookies together for the last time, and seems like a long time ago we were talking about like Breece Hall and all them guys that were Garrett Wilson, and they seem a little older now.
Right. I know. I mean, the first rookie class I was really diving in deep was that 20 whatever it was, Wilson, Burke, Drake London, all them bums.
Yeah, all them bums.
All them bums. Olave was up in there. First number 1 pick at the 101. If I could redo it, do it all again, I'd go CJ Stroud. Now I know last year at this time it was all Bijan this, Bijan that, and I remember, I don't know if you remember, Kraft Man, I was saying that because there was a lot of Anthony Richardson chatter and a lot of hype. Me and you, obviously, we weren't buying it at the time. But I was saying, if one of these quarterbacks are really that good, they're really what you think you are, why don't you just go ahead and take them over Bijan? It's just a running back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm like, I think it's going to be good and all that shit, which he is. But I'm about to make that little same argument with CJ Stroud. We've already seen how good he's been this year. Let's just say where is he at in dynasty rankings? Could be top 5. I mean, the dude's probably up there. Yeah. You taking him above Herbert?
Yeah, I think I'll take him above Herbert at this point. Herbert, he's been great, but he had 1 year where he was like the QB2, and the rest have just been like a QB10, QB9 type finish, and it just don't look like, as of right now, that it's panning out so well for the Chargers. They're probably about to fire their head coach and GM and everything, and they're just one of the few teams, to me, in the league. I told Noah today, they were my most hated team in the NFL, is the Chargers, because they have everything. They have everything they need. They paid all these players on the offense and defensive side, and they lost Mike Williams. That's it. That's pretty much all they lost this year. And for some reason, Herbert can't get it done. And Keenan Allen will be leaving. I don't really know what's gonna happen with the Chargers, but he's in his 4th or 5th year coming in next year, and I mean, I think I've seen enough to say that he's not like a top 3 dynasty quarterback anymore.
Would you take Stroud over Burrow?
I think I'd still take Burrow at that point, just because of the
So the
Jamar
guys
Chase.
in Dynasty you would take over Stroud right now are probably like Patty, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts. Um,
That might be it.
I mean, damn, that's only 3 guys. So my
I
thing
still
is, if
like Tua. I still like Tua a good bit. I like Burrow. Lamar's all right, but I think I'd put him there about right where you had it. If you said he was like number 4, I don't
so
know if I could argue with it.
if you were doing these rookie drafts and you realized you could get a quarterback that by the end of the year we'd be talking about this motherfucker's in the top 4ish. CJ Stroud is that guy at the 101. So what you got at the 102 then, Kraft man?
102. I'm just gonna stick with the consensus. The one at consensus 101. I'm just gonna go Bijan at the number 2. He's pretty much everything anybody expected coming in. Me personally, I kind of knew Algier was going to get a decent amount of work, and then Bijan was going to take over, and it looks like the takeover's here, and you can't say anything about him being a bad player. I mean, he's having a great rookie season, and yards per carry's up, looks explosive. He's as good as expected, so no qualms with Bijan.
Man, he's the RB8 this year, and if you think about it, it really could be way better. Like at the beginning of the year, he wasn't getting used. He's getting used a little more now. He's in a split with man. I'm telling you, crap, man. I'm a Falcons fan, been a Falcons fan my whole life, but it just drives me insane when I see old Cordell Patterson back there getting 2 or 3 carries. I'm like, what in the hell are we even remotely doing that shit?
You got to give him a break every now and again.
Well, throw Algier in there. Don't throw your old guys out there. Quit handing the ball off to Jonnu Smith. I just will put it like this. I think there was a lot of shenanigans going on at the beginning of the year. Arthur Smith had a little vendetta versus fantasy football. It was pretty much fantasy football versus him for a little while and his bitch ass. Nah, I'm just kidding. But honestly, I was on Arthur Smith's side on a few things, but it was starting to get to the point where it was like, bro, you got to start using your players. Like, you got all these guys. Like, let's quit using Cordell Patterson for crying out loud.
And Jonnu Smith.
So, but the thing is, like, Bijan's number 8, and there was a lot of shit kind of going wrong this year.
Yeah.
Just think about next year. He'll probably
Is he the Dynasty RB1 though? Is he like if you were doing a startup now? The only other guy that I did put Breece Hall as my RB1 in the offseason, but that Aaron Rodgers injury kind of screwed that whole thing up.
Right.
So, coming in next year, you still taking him over Breece, but the Jets getting a new QB. Are you gonna take him over McCaffrey, knowing that McCaffrey can just win you a league? Straight up,
I would think he's got to be over McCaffrey right now.
Is that the only 2 that you can argue?
Jameer?
Yeah, Jameer's in there. But I just
take Bijan over Jameer.
Yeah, I think I'd take David Montgomery's still going to be there for a couple years, and
right.
that goal line work is going to be his. So Jameer looks good though.
All right, so I guess at the 103, I would take Anthony Richardson, and I was not big on Anthony Richardson at all. Me and Krabs on here cracking jokes left and right about his ass. He even did the crew versus Twitter. We called out that one podcast. They loved them some Anthony Richardson. They was saying some crazy things for a rookie year though. Like I can't remember what the numbers were off the top of my head.
He might could have done it. He might could have done it.
I agree. I feel like this. I'm taking the L on Anthony Richardson. It feels like even if he stays getting hurt. I mean, we might be right about that part, but I was wrong about him talent-wise and just being a quarterback in the NFL because he definitely was pretty good. So he had, those first 2 stretches or whatever, or a couple games. Yeah. Heck, in that one game he got hurt. He had like 2 rushing touchdowns and was going off. Cost me a damn parlay on underdog though, because he didn't beat the rushing yards, but he had 2 touchdowns. Some straight bullshit, man.
The reason that I liked Anthony, well, I didn't like Anthony Richardson, but the reason that he has been so successful is the Colts are actually I think they're overperforming, but Shane Steichen's a good head coach.
Yeah.
And he's in the perfect system. And he's just going to be – I don't blame you for taking him at the number 3 because, Gardner Minshew's lighting it up. The Colts are a winning team. They're in the playoffs right now. So you bring him into that kind of organization with that head coach, I think he's gonna make it work.
So, I'm sold on Anthony Richardson. Now it's just health-wise from here on out for me. So,
yeah,
I wonder where he'll go in redraft next year. I wonder if it'll be high or what you think of Kraft, man?
I don't know, man. That's gonna be tough. I'm at the point where I want a damn good quarterback because the one league that I was terrible in, I drafted Trevor Lawrence and he was so bad for like the first, 3 quarters of the season, and now he's finally turning it on. But that quarterback lost me so many games. So I don't know where my head's going to be at next year. I'm sure I'll get roped into getting like a Justin Fields or a Trevor Lawrence or Herbert again or some bullshit like that instead of just taking Josh Allen in like the second round and being fine at quarterback all season.
Yeah. Honestly, I know I ain't going to do that. I'll probably just wait again, see how it pans out. Man, I wish I would have drafted like Dak in the 10th this past year. I'll say that. That would have been sweet.
Hell yeah. We were talking about keepers. We were talking about keepers earlier today. And just say we were in a keeper league. Would you keep McCaffrey in the first? Or would you keep Dak Prescott in the 10th?
I would just keep Dak. But I've never even been in a keeper league, so I can't even say. Like, I'm going to have to go get in one of them. Dak in the 10th just feels sweet. Quarterback 2 right now. So
you think it just keeps continuing though, like year after year now? You a Dak believer?
I do think these quarterbacks get to the point where you've played so long and you've seen so many reps and you've done all this stuff where it's just like you get to that certain age. That's what kills me with like when we don't let these quarterbacks develop and shit like that. Like if you give these quarterbacks a lot of years, like Dak Prescott, he's getting a lot of years under his belt. He's seen everything. And these quarterbacks really don't get worse even though they're older, you know what I'm saying? Like just because you're older don't mean shit, really. Probably getting better. So I don't know. I think I might be believing. Might be.
You got to at this point. You got to show flashes. Like even these rookie quarterbacks, like C.J. Stroud has shown flashes. Even Will Levis has shown flashes of being good. But Bryce Young, I don't know if he's really shown any flashes. I'm hating, man. I'm hating.
So far we got Stroud at the 101, Bijan at the 102, Anthony Richardson at the 103. Who we got at the 104, Kraft?
Shit, I'm gonna go Zach Evans. I'm just playing. This one's actually pretty tough because I really like a couple of the receivers here. There's one more running back. Well, really 2, but one more running back I like. But I think I'm gonna go with Jahmyr Gibbs right here at the 104. That's about where he was drafted previously, so I think he's one that's kind of maintained his value throughout the year, especially in a full PPR with the receptions. And I tell you one thing about Gibbs that is kind of funny is the fact that when Detroit sucks, Jahmyr Gibbs is great.
Yeah.
Like the games they're losing, it's like the DeAndre Swift thing from last year. So if you think that the Lions are gonna start struggling, Jahmyr Gibbs is gonna be great, and then when they're winning, David Montgomery is gonna be the guy. So I feel like that's the only difference between when everybody was complaining about Gibbs at the start of the season compared to now is the fact that he is getting worked in a little more,
right?
But it's just the fact that the Lions aren't playing as well.
Man, had motherfuckers in an uproar at the beginning of the year. People getting mad that Gibbs wasn't getting all the work. Like
I was one of them.
Yeah, I do think it's funny though, but David Montgomery had just inked in a 3-year deal or something like that, so you had to know he was about to get some work. But Jahmyr Gibbs, talent wise, heck, if if David Montgomery wasn't there, you could probably have an argument that he should be ahead of Bijan, honestly. I mean, when Jahmyr Gibbs got drafted to Detroit, man, I was all in, and I still am all in. I think I love me some Jahmyr Gibbs, and I think next year he'll probably go off. Lions might
Yeah.
be. Actually, I don't even know what to think about the Lions as a team wise, but I mean, they're
I just don't know what they're gonna do with Goff. Yeah, I mean, he's
right.
played really good, and then the last 3 or 4 weeks has been god awful. I mean, they've just been terrible,
I
or
thought
he's
about
been terrible.
this whole time. I thought about making a trade for him for my week 1 playoffs because I got Tua going against whatchamacallit, the Jets. I was thinking about how I could get Jared Goff, but Joker's been bad, and heck, I was so stressed out about making the playoffs I couldn't even make a move. So
And they played Denver anyway, and Denver's been
right,
pretty good. So
which
probably
is
need to
crazy.
start Tua anyway.
All right, so at the 104 went Jahmyr Gibbs. So at the 105, now these, I think things me and you gonna be. I feel like me and you probably agreed on the top 4 mostly. I think from here on out we're gonna be disagreeing, or or at least maybe not total disagreement, but there's gonna be a little differences or whatever. So at 105, I'm sticking with the same shit I stuck with at the beginning. I'm taking
Don't.
Jordan Addison at the
Okay.
105. But I was that one guy out there, that one guy who had ranked Addison ahead of JSN. I think JSN is still good as fuck though, no doubt about it. But I just think Addison, he had a good rookie year. I mean, when what's his face, Kirk Cousin was balling, Jordan Addison started flashing. He came along at the beginning of the year, kind of slow, but he was getting in the end zone and shit like that. I'm an
Without
Addison
Jefferson.
without Jefferson. Nah, Jefferson was around for first. When did he get? What week did Jefferson get hurt? I don't even remember.
Yeah, I mean, Jordan Addison was at his best when Kirk Cousins was in there. He had like a 3-game stretch, like 3 or 4-game stretch where Jefferson was hurt, but Kirk Cousins wasn't hurt yet. And that's when he was at his best. And now for redraft purposes, he's unusable. I mean, you can drop him.
Hooper.
I think you can drop him, and
Yeah.
he might just be a landmine. But we're not talking about redraft. I like Addison. He's definitely shown some flashes, and Minnesota's going to get a quarterback. I think Kirk Cousins will probably be back. I mean,
Same.
they're a playoff contending team now, and the one thing we were worried about with them was their defense being so terrible, but their defense has been very fucking good,
Yep.
and I think they're just going to stick with it and contend next year. I don't think they're going to rebuild or do anything crazy. I think Jefferson's back. I think Kirk Cousins will probably come back, or they'll bring in a competent quarterback. They're not going to roll with Dobbs or whoever the hell they
Nah.
got.
Nick Mullins.
No, they ain't going to try to do that.
Or nah, not Mullins. They got a rookie up in there.
Yeah, I don't even know that
I
nigga's
don't even
name.
know. Fuck it. Hopefully Kirk Cousins will be back. But the thing is about Jordan Addison too is if Kirk Cousins does come back, the situation stays the same, and the situation's great. Now Minnesota throws the ball like crazy, so the situation, I like the talent. I would take him at the 105 still, and get ready for year 2.
All right, I made a trade earlier this year in Dynasty League and got Addison. I traded Sam Howell for Addison and then Joku. How do you think? You think that went all right, or what do you think about that?
Dynasty or what are we talking
Dynasty
about? Oh, you traded Sam Howell and
for
yeah.
Addison and then Joku.
I guess it just depends on what you think about Howell. I know he's going to start next year. Don't you
He's
think?
fine.
Howell's he had a good
He
fantasy
don't
year.
support a receiver for you. Like you're not
Nah.
happy with the receivers, but as far as he goes, he's been throwing for a lot of yards and a lot of touchdowns. So
He was up to number 3 at one point, quarterback 3.
still,
So
and he just had a bye week. That's the only reason he would drop. But I
I'd
mean,
probably want the Sam Howell side, but I think that could change real quick if he can't make it past. I mean, some people think that Washington will draft somebody this year. I don't think that's going to happen, but I think Washington is going to be pretty high up
Howell's been
there.
fine, man.
Yeah, I agree. So I do think Howell probably that side probably won that trade though. But I wouldn't mind having Addison for the next 8. So you
Yeah,
straight
yeah, I hope so. So where we at? 106.
106.
You probably know where I'm going here.
Probably.
At the 106, I'm going with Puka. Oh,
Puka.
Puka Nakua, the best wide receiver in this rookie class. No shade on JSN, or I think JSN is going to be great. I mean, this is exactly what we expected, right? He was going to have not that great of a rookie year. He's going to be behind Lockett. Lockett's gone. There's no way he's coming back. He's done.
Yeah.
And it's going to be him and DK running it. The only thing is, what quarterback are they going to have? I don't know if Geno will be their starter. Could be a rookie. I doubt it. They got a pretty good record. They're going to have a late pick in the first. So probably just going to roll with Geno again, I would imagine. And I'm sure they'll draft a quarterback, but it might not be a quarterback that they plan on starting right away.
Yeah. Some questions in Seattle. Puka. Heck, I would say there's maybe some slight questions with the Rams, but I think because I was listening to some stuff and it was saying it makes too much sense for Stafford to come back next year, too much money. So I would imagine Sean McVay would be back. Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
Situation's gonna be the same next year. Yeah. So and they're as far as this year goes, they're fighting for the playoffs still and all that shit. So hoping Cooper, Puka, I like the pick. And I definitely like the value. Puka was going super low. We had mentioned it earlier. Now look at Puka, 106. Shows what these motherfucking experts.
Exactly. If anybody would have done that in the offseason and said, I want Puka at the 106,
They'd kick you out of the league and shit.
Everybody would say you're an idiot and get off the podcast and never invite you back.
You know what? Next year we need to find us our Puka and just really tout that shit and just see if we can guess right. Have everybody wanting to listen to what we doing.
Who was your Puka? Like in the offseason, who was your Puka? It could be like dead wrong. Like who did you think was going to be, a great value? Kendre?
Oh man, probably all them damn running backs. Got any of them running backs really? Because I was buying into the whole shebang, the whole class.
I like Tank Bigsby. I ain't even gonna lie.
Yeah. Yep, I'm with you on that. Heck, I like Zach Evans. And he got drafted in the motherfucking 6th or 7th round. I was still liking him. But
I know you like Kendre though, and that's still not
like
over.
Kendre. Nah. I would definitely maybe try to go buy low on Kendre and maybe. I think there was another running back, but yeah, I was taking Kendre at like the back of the first. I don't think he'll go there today. I'm not sure, but I don't think he'll go up there today. Because all right, so at the 107, I'm up. And so far, we got Stroud at the 1, Bijan at the 2, A-Rich at the 3, Gibbs at the 4, Addison at the 5, Puka at the 6. And I think, Craftman, that I think I might take old Tank Dell right here at the 107. I'm not saying and you know what? It's like you just said. We think Jason's going to be pretty fucking good, but I think Tank Dell's about to be pretty fucking good with old CJ Stroud. They're going to be connected to each other for like
ever
5+. I mean, 10, a whole decade of this shit. And Tank Dell looked good. He was drafted on day 2, I think, in the 2nd round too. Is that right?
Yeah, it was pretty 2nd or 3rd round.
And Tank Dell has some good ass games this year, so I know that one's controversial with taking Tank Dell over JSN is a little bit. And I'm really not even trying to drop JSN far. I just like these other guys too. Like all these guys are good. So
if it wasn't for the injury a week ago, I mean, nobody would have said anything about it. Do you even know what happened to him? I think he broke his fibula or
something like that.
Kind of like one of the smaller bones in the lower leg.
So hopefully he'll be straight.
That's the only thing you got to worry about with him is he's just small. Like he's a small guy, and these kind of injuries can happen. Like he's had a couple injuries this year with concussions and broken leg, and that's the only thing that you'd have to worry about with him, just because he's a smaller guy. But so is Jordan Addison though. So
it just seems like Houston's got something cooking up there. and I wouldn't mind. I want Tank Dell. Heck, I want Nico. I want them
Yep.
all. So,
Well,
yep, Tank Dell at the 107.
well, JSN isn't getting picked at the 108 neither. JSN's going to fall one more, and I'm going to go with a running back. I'm going to go Devon Achane right here at 108. I just think Miami's got it going on. I think Raheem Mostert's getting old, and Devon Achane is undersized, but just give the guy 15 carries a game. Let him play the Jahmyr Gibbs role that you're going to play in Detroit. If you're willing to draft Jahmyr Gibbs, you should be willing to draft Devon Achane because they did the same thing. And Miami's offense is explosive. So, I mean, you're just getting, I wouldn't even say it's a discount Gibbs at this point. I wouldn't say anybody was crazy if they wanted Achane over Gibbs.
Yeah. I was about to say, some people would see us with Achane at the 108 and think that's too low still, which it could be. I mean, heck, Achane was going at the 108. Nah, Chris, he drafted Achane in a single quarterback, one quarterback league. He drafted Achane at the 107, I believe. So that would be like the 110-ish in Superflex. So here we are. Say what?
I said he believed. I remember when we did our rookie tape and we were looking at Achane, and you were like, I don't think you were about that impressed. And I was like, man, this guy looks super explosive. I just don't know I just don't know if he's going to get enough carries to amount to much fantasy production. But the talent's definitely there. Yeah. No doubt about it.
He had some good games this year with 40 plus points, 30 plus points or whatever it was, though. But I know it was crazy. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm with you. Achane, that gives us another running back into the mix. And I guess Kraft, man, at the 109, I got to take JSN. I got to. I don't hate JSN.
Up. He should have dropped one more.
Who would you have taken?
Laporta.
Oh, man. That's tough. I'm going to say JSN, but I'm going to be real. That's tough right there, especially in tight end premium. This class ended up being pretty good, Kraft, man. I think, this class was... What was the old Bubba? He said this is the best class in half a century or something like that. And then we got to breaking it down, and we was like, man, this class ain't all that. And now when you go back and you look at it, pretty good class. JSN with Seattle. I don't think any of us have a question with JSN. I think we just all got questions with Seattle and Geno. I mean, what are they about to be doing? Geno, he'll definitely be back or whatever, but I think they just got to be better. Like, if they could get back to what they was, Geno was like the quarterback 5 last year. If they could get back to that, JSN will go off next year. But if they're going to struggle again next year, and you're looking at another so-so year, maybe Lockett will be out the picture.
Yeah.
So we'll just see how it goes.
And you just got to go back to your original thoughts before the season. I mean, like I said earlier, we knew JSN wasn't going to be no crazy like redraft pick this year that was just going to win you a league or nothing like that. But this is what we expected. So I don't think you should drop him in your rankings. It's not based on what he's done that made him drop in the rankings. It's just the fact that other guys have kind of emerged to where it would be hard not to pick them over him. I think the best way to explain it.
Yep, I agree with that the whole way. So now we're sitting at the 110, Kraft man, and you would roll with Sam Laporta. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. If I'm going Sam Laporta here at the 110, this is one of the best rookie seasons you're going to get out of a tight end. I don't know where he's ranked this year. He was a tight end too for a while. I would imagine he's still top 5, and you just don't get that. I don't see a Kyle Pitts kind of fall coming for Sam Laporta.
Yeah, Laporta has risen. He is way up there. Shout out to DT. Dude pulled out of his ass that he was a Laporta guy out of nowhere, and it ended up paying off. You can't even trade Travis Kelce straight up and get Sam Laporta right now. Just think
he's a tight end 1 in Dynasty. I really think he is a tight end 1.
I think I agree with that. There's a little shift. Kelsey's definitely got a drive. That dude's definitely declined some
Yeah.
this year. There's no doubt about it. Dude's got his head up Taylor Swift's ass. Dude's showing up at Pfizer commercials. He sold his soul, and now he's killing my fantasy team, and it's pissing me the fuck off.
Man, I used to like Kelsey so much, and now I just see him on every commercial, and I love me some Taylor Swift. I'll be blasting that shit on the way to work tomorrow. But as
Golly.
far as football goes, just stick to the damn game you play, and let's just get all this other crap out of there. I can't deal with that shit.
Man, crap, man. I wish somebody in my family was sitting right here with me. My brother growing up loved Taylor Swift, man. It used to drive me insane. We'd have to listen to the songs over and over and over. He wouldn't even like I'm talking about on the radio. You flipping the radio, you catch a back half of the Taylor Swift song. You gotta listen to the whole thing.
Exactly. You
That-
got
that-
to. I mean, her new album's banging, man. Anti-Hero.
she working on her next one right now with old Kelsey.
She never stops. She never stops.
So yeah, Sam Laporta at the 110. But I will say this, Kraft. We'll go ahead and bring this up. Kincaid was definitely going ahead of Laporta.
Michael Mayer was going ahead of Laporta.
Mayer was going ahead of Laporta. So Laporta just jumped the tight end rookie rankings. Period.
Is 110 too low in the tight end premium? Should we have taken him earlier? Like over Achane, maybe? Or
I think
how far would you go? How far could you argue it?
Man, you could probably argue it behind Gibbs. You could probably take him ahead of Addison if you wanted to.
Yeah. I could say
wouldn't have, especially if Laporta's going to be good for the next 10 years. And we're already talking about he's the tight end one in Dynasty. I mean, he's definitely up there. Top 2. I think McBride needs a little bit of shine, a little bit of love.
Yeah.
Up there, kind of close, but definitely that guy. All right, so here we are at the 111. And I'm gonna go ahead and take this guy because I gotta make a stand for my man, old Bryce Young. I know we just let him slip all the way to the back to Will Levis territory back here, like. But I would take Bryce Young, and I know Chris. He's a Panthers fan. And he was talking to us before me and Kraft started the pod tonight. He's just saying that Bryce Young sucks and shit like that. And I know a lot of people think that, but I'm just gonna be real. I ain't giving up faith, and I'm saying it right now. Go ahead and buy low on Bryce Young. The Panthers are a shit show right now. They just fired another coach. I think let's just give the man some time. Like,
where do they get talent though? They have no picks.
Well, it's gonna be it's gonna be a grind. But hopefully their owner, who be getting involved in shit, wants to spend money, be aggressive. Maybe they can go get them a T. Higgins or Mike Evans or some shit. I don't know, but one of these wide receivers that'll be off the market. But it don't matter. They just need to get some good coaching in there, and they need to just start changing things up a little bit. Protect Bryce Young a little bit. Dude does look like a kid out there, though. You want to talk about this whole draft class is fucking tiny as fuck. Every player we could talk about is short and small. But I ain't giving up on Bryce Young. I think Bryce Young gonna be hit. We'll put it like this: his value's taking a hit. I think by next year we'll be talking about him being like a top 12-ish, top 12-ish,
top 12-ish,
top 12-ish kind of guy at the end of next season. We'll see some flashes from him for sure. Dude's got no help. He's throwing to Thielen. He's throwing to Thielen and Mingo.
Yeah. CJ Stroud, before the season, nobody knew who Nico Collins was, and nobody thought Tank Dell was going to be anything.
I feel like people knew who Nico Collins was, though.
But if Bryce Young went to Houston, you'd be like, he's just throwing to Nico Collins and Tank Dell. Like, who are these guys?
Yeah, but don't you think Nico and Tank Dell is like way? I mean, Mingo and Thielen. Are you
Stroud
serious?
makes them better. I do think them guys are more talented. I'm not saying. I think Stroud would have done. Yeah, Thielen and Mingo would have much better statistics if Stroud was there. Maybe not Thielen for the first part of the year. He was like the wide receiver 1 for a while.
Yeah,
and man was killing it. And then Chris traded for him, and then he doesn't do anything anymore.
Right, gave up that first. I ain't even gonna lie. I've thought about that trade so much about how he gave up that 25 first for one, and I was just thinking, damn, that shit did not pay off because It was just one of them things, though. It's like the gamble you take. All right, so here we are, last pick of the first round right here. And who you got, Crab, man?
Man, I think I'm gonna play the game, and hopefully my guy falls to me. We're gonna go 2 rounds here. You wanna try to go 2?
It don't even matter. We can just
We can
go
go
as far
pretty
as you
quick in
want.
the sec. We can go pretty quick in the
All
second
right,
because
yeah.
I think there's still some good players. But right here, I'm gonna take the risk that he falls, and I'm gonna take Dalton Kincaid right here, and just based on the fact that he's just out there being their slot receiver that they wanted. Dawson Knox did come back last week, and Kincaid was still on the field for over 70% of the snaps, running routes. He stuck with Josh Allen. I'm not sure what Stephon Diggs' future is with the Bills. If they don't win a Super Bowl or come close to winning a Super Bowl this year, I think Diggs might be gone. And Kincaid just might. I could see him being like the main option in the receiving game for the Bills in the future. So that's the only reason I would take him right there.
Kincaid was going up high last year. People were definitely recognizing him as the best receiving tight end coming out of the draft. And once he went to Buffalo, everybody was all in on him. And so, yeah, I'm with you. There's a little uncertainty with Stephon. That Joker might be gone. Gabe Davis, he might be gone.
We ain't worried about him anyway.
Nah, not worried about him. But yeah, but still, if your top 2 wide receivers are gone and you done invested some draft capital into Dalton Kincaid and you got Josh Allen, you got to feel good about the situation, the talent, the whole thing. So we got him here at the 112. Is that too low, though, Crab? Yeah, I guess you'd take him over Bryce Young.
He's one of them guys. Yeah, I would probably take him over Young, but I would take. Oh man, that's tough. We'll talk about him in a minute, but like I said, it's just the fact that I think he could be their number one option, and his values kind of stayed the same. He was drafted around this spot. I think he's played about exactly as what you would have predicted him to play. I mean, he didn't go off like Sam Laporta. He didn't kind of have a terrible rookie season. So he's just kind of right where he belonged. I think the fantasy community was right about him.
Agreed. All right, so let me recap our first round real quick. 2023 redraft for the rookies. We went Stroud at 1, Bijan at 2, A-Rich at 3, Gibbs at 4, Addison at 5, Puka at 6, Tank Dell at 7, A-Chain at 8, JSN 9, Laporta 10, Bryce Young 11, Kincaid 12. We'll go through this second round kind of quick. Who knows? Maybe I'm gonna try not to mess up going through 12 more players. But there's a lot of players I like, and there's some players that was in the first round that hadn't even gone yet. That was going last year. So my first one at the 201, I'm gonna take Zay Flowers, Baltimore. Heck, a lot of people was liking Zay. Yep, I mean Zay's shown some he's basically just shown some flashes this year. That's all I'm gonna say. I think we gonna find out a little more. Like my thing is, Kraft is he more of like a gadget kind of guy, or is he gonna be like one of your main wide receivers? Yeah, and plus like Bateman, he ain't shit. That's not a thing.
No.
Odell, older.
Old.
Although Odell has had some, he's had a couple good games here recently, but nothing that would steer you away from Zay dynasty wise. But he'll be here. Mark Andrews always banged up, always. So Zay Flowers, sky's the limit for Zay.
Yep. I like Zay Flowers. He's pretty much what I expected him to be coming into the year. Just super talented. And, I mean, I liked him over – I think I liked him over JSN to begin the year. It was either JSN or – no, it was Addison. I like JSN, and then I like Flowers over Addison. So, I mean, he's pretty much shown everything you wanted to show except for the fact that they – like you said, they're using him a little bit gadgety, short – short area receptions, stuff like that. He's not really getting down the field much. But one big plus with Zay Flowers is the fact that Rashad Bateman is just not it, like you said. And I had faith in Bateman, but he's not going to be it. So that's just another guy on that team that you don't have to worry about stealing targets from Zay.
Right. Agree.
Well, you didn't take my guy though.
Nah, go ahead. 202.
At the 202, I'm going to take Rashee Rice. Oh, Kansas City. I think he's the only one on that team that can show any promise in that receiving core. They're going to bring somebody in. There's no doubt in my mind that in the offseason, they're going to go after a veteran, or they might draft one in the first round next year. But they got to do something. I mean, Sky Moore's not the guy. Scantlin's, he's going to be gone. I think they're going to bring in, like, if Diggs leaves Buffalo, I could see him landing in Kansas City. You know, somebody like Chris Godwin, who's a free agent, or Mike Evans could get traded. Cortland Sutton, you know, these kind of guys could go there. But I think he's shown enough this year, and he's the only reliable target in Kansas City right now, even though I don't really like Kansas City receivers and because they spread the ball around so much.
Heck, I agree with you 100%, Kraft, man. I think Rashee Rice has looked pretty good. In fact, I'll say this. I saw a trade just go down. A competitor traded Rashee Rice and got Marquise Brown. There was a little more to that trade, but I feel like I would definitely love to have me some Rashee Rice.
Who would you rather have, Marquise Brown or Rashee Rice? And
I'd rather have Rashee Rice, and you know I'm a Marquise Brown fanboy. Yep. I just like way it's looked with Rashee out there, and I think he's even out-targeted Travis Kelce back right here in these past couple of weeks. Heck, you know, remember that? Me and you we was liking Rashee Rice a little bit when we was watching all that film and shit. So it's you know, can't take we get some W's out there, some wins.
I'm ready to watch this film again on these rookies because I ain't even gonna lie, I have no clue right now, except for like the top 5 or 6 guys. I mean, I gotta get into it.
Yep, I can't wait to start getting into that. I've been looking at some lists lately, and definitely like a clear top 6. Heck, there's definitely a clear top 4 and then a clear top 6. And at the 203, you know I don't really like him all that much, but in Superflex, I'm gonna go ahead and just say Will Levis right here. I got Will Levis pretty low in a startup draft, and then I just shipped him off for a first round pick. It's probably gonna be a late first. Although Justin Herbert went down, so it could be like a little mid round first.
It could be like the 107, maybe
108. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, Will Levis. I think if I was saying this, like I got a first round for him and I was happy, but if Will Levis ended up being the starter for the next 4 years or whatever, I think you could probably say you won that trade. Just giving up a first round pick, a late first, and then getting a starting quarterback. That's a good deal all day. So
yeah.
But Will Levis has definitely shown some flashes, and he's got a good arm. But they need to build around him a little bit. And I'll put it like this, Kraft. I have a little more faith in Will Levis than I did last year. Because last year I was just laughing my ass off talking about that guy. But he did. Yeah. But he definitely shows some flashes where he looks okay at times.
I guess when we go looking at our film this year, maybe we could change it up and look at just the physical ability. Because we had nothing against his rushing upside or strong arm or nothing. He just seemed incompetent in the pocket, which he still is. Like, he's still very incompetent in the pocket and takes big hits. But, I mean, he's a competitor. I like him, and that's a pretty good pick. And that's the guy I was saying I might take over Bryce Young, is Will Levis.
Damn.
I mean,
that is crazy.
Have to ask around, can you trade Will Levis or Bryce Young in Dynasty right now? I'm sure you can. Or both sides.
I'll definitely take Bryce Young on that side. Tough though. Some people might not.
Ask Chris.
Yeah, damn. I wish Chris was on with us. So so far in the second round, I got Zay Flowers, then I got Rashee Rice, and then Will Levis at the 204. Where are we going, Kraft?
At the 204, I'm gonna take my guy from my team. I'm gonna go with Jaden Reed. At the 204, he's got talent. There's no doubt about it. He's the best receiver on the Packers right now. Christian Watson's, he's all right. You know, Romeo Dobbs is all right, but Jaden Reed got the most promise on that team, and he's the one that I could see being the main receiver for the Packers in the future. And they're using him in all kind of different ways. A lot of his touchdowns this year on end arounds and just getting the ball in his hands. So very talented. Him and Rashee Rice are back to back to me in rankings. So I mean, as a Packers fan, definitely going Jaden Reed.
I'm with you. I like Jaden Reed too. Definitely looks like the most talented guy on Green Bay. I kind of like what Green Bay's got going. I know I made a comment to you not too long ago that I'd feel good. I'd feel all right going into next season having any of those young guys on my team.
Yeah.
They got something building in Green Bay. So at the 205, Craft man, this is where
Getting hard, man. It's getting really tough.
It's getting hard, but look, Craft man, look where I'm gonna go with this one. I'm gonna say Quentin Johnston, our guy. Last year he was going.
Bro,
What was he going? He
107.
was 107, like after Zay, right? In our eyes, he was going after Zay, right?
Yeah, he's like 107, 108 ish.
Fourth wide receiver off a rookie draft board, but in the real NFL draft, he was the first one to go, wasn't he? Wasn't he the first one off the board? Or did JSN go ahead of him? He might have.
I think JSN went right before him.
This is going to be the theme of my offseason when I talk about Quentin Johnston.
Bilo.
Bilo. Go ahead and just take a shot on him. The same thing I was saying about Treylon Burks last year, and it didn't pan out. Sky Moore, and it didn't pan out.
Jahan Dotson, and it didn't pan out.
I'm going to say the same thing this year. I'm going to say go out there and try to take a shot on Quentin Johnston. People like Mike Williams. Keenan Allen's old. Mike Williams can't stay healthy. QJ just can't catch. If that motherfucker could catch, who knows, man? Maybe a year off season. You ain't gotta, listen to all the hype about who you are and this shit. And maybe you get into the weight room and maybe he works it out. I would just go Quentin Johnson. I mean, right here at the 205, the dude's gone like half a round later than where we had him last year.
He did go like 3 for 91 last week with Easton Stick. So maybe it was like that backup quarterback type thing. So right here, I got a tough one. There's a couple running backs that I still like, and there's a tight end that I still like. And I'm going to put this guy in the same vein as I did Trey McBride in the offseason. I'm going to take Michael Mayer right here because I still think he's talented. I think Devontae Adams is a good chance that he don't come back. And Michael Mayer is going to pull that Trey McBride type action next year where it's a bad offense. They might bring in a quarterback. They're going to have to bring in a quarterback that's competent. And you might get a good tight end next year. I mean, most of the time, tight ends take a year or two to break out. He's still very talented. He was he the number – where was he taken in the draft? He was the number 2 tight end off the board in the NFL draft?
Yeah, he was pretty much the number 1 guy, but when the draft came, Kincaid went ahead.
Yeah, because Buffalo needed their own Travis Kelce. So, yeah, I'm going to go Michael Mayer here. I still believe in him. I think he's a definite buy low candidate right here, and don't miss out on taking this guy.
I agree. Go ahead and buy low on these rookie tight ends. I didn't do shit this year. Really, the rookie landscape, the tight end rookie landscape, it's like we just got filled in with a few of them. The 3 guys we done talked about: Kincaid, Mayer, Laporta. We got Musgrave up here now. Heck, wasn't there a few more? I know there was more than just 4. Couple more.
That was pretty much it. Schoon Man. And Washington. Darnell Washington, he just kind of he
Denzel.
just blocks. Yeah, Denzel. He just kind of blocks.
All right, so here at the 207, we get down to the gritty, and I'm gonna take Kendre Miller. I was super high on Kendre Miller, and I was taking him at the back half of the first round and last year. And right here, I'm at the 207, and here's my thing, Craft man. We still got Charbonnet. Me and you both haven't drafted Charbonnet. And I just think Charbonnet.
We still haven't drafted Charbonnet.
Right. And I just think he's just straight up capped. Like, I don't think we'll ever see a Charbonnet where he's just going to be the guy and just be going off. I mean, it would have to be something like Kenneth Walker out for the year type deal, the way
Yeah.
I see it. And so when it comes to Kendre, I would buy low on Kendre Miller, and we'll just see how. This is just a straight up, I like the talent, and I thought he was good in college football his last year. Can't say nothing about this year except for just if you need a running
Yeah.
back, maybe toss a second out there, go slide and go get him, and then see how it pans out in New Orleans.
Yeah. And Kamara, there's a good chance that he couldn't be back. He might be. He's going to be a hot commodity in the offseason for sure. And like I said, I was talking to Noah the other day, just saying I'd like to go buy low on Kendre. Then I realized you had him, and I was like, yeah, I ain't getting Kendre Miller. But where are we at right here? Like the 2-0, where we at?
208.
At the 208. I'm in between two running backs, and one of them isn't Charbonnet either because I'm kind of shooting for upside with the running backs that could be leaving. So I think I'm going to go with Tajay Spears right here at the 208. Derrick Henry probably done in Tennessee. There's a good chance that Tennessee does bring in another running back, but they put Tajay on the they put him on the field a lot this year, even with Derrick Henry. He's been getting close to 50% of the snaps, and when they're losing, and they do a lot of losing, he's usually the main guy. So, and they use him a lot in the receiving game. And him and Will Levis they came in at the same time. They're kind of gonna grow together. So I'm gonna go with Tajay Spears, and I'm wondering if you're thinking about what you're thinking here at this next pick, because I know I feel like there's one or two more running backs that have a good opportunity to kind of show out in the future.
Yeah, I would say guys like maybe Roshan be in the mix. Bigsby could be in the mix. I would still
There's
say go
Downs,
buy
man.
low. Yep,
Where's
Downs.
Downs?
Basically that's my three I'm picking between is like, well, really two. I would say Charbonnet and Downs. Like, is this when I would get Charbonnet? But Downs, look, let's just go ahead and I'll just go ahead and put it down now. I'm gonna do Josh Downs at the 209, and I drafted him pretty much at the 209 in a one quarterback 10 man. So he was probably going like mid second round. Listen, Josh Downs, I've watched him play. I thought he was good in college. He was just so small. And I'm not saying that I don't know. This whole class is just so fucking small. Next year, crap, man, I ain't even looking at that shit. I don't care if you're small or not.
No,
I really don't
it's
care
changed.
anyways. But then when me and you was like looking at the film and the size, then it was just like, okay. I'm looking at it a little bit. The dude was like 160. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I weigh more than that dude. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
He's a lot more talented than we are, though.
yeah,
So,
he got a lot of targets though, and I would say he was way better this year than I remotely thought. And I know he's playing with what's his face?
Gardner.
Garner, yeah, Minshew. So he's probably getting little more targets than what he would. He's killing me this year. I've been having to play him, and he's fucking killing me right now. He wasn't
was
a few
doing so
weeks ago.
good.
Yeah. Still getting a lot of targets, though, mostly, but Josh Downs at a 209.
So what we got? One more pick?
10, 11, 12.
10, 11, 12. Okay, because there's a couple guys I'd like to take here, and the receivers are about white clean. I'm in between honorable mention. You got, Mingo, Hyatt, Michael Wilson. I still like Michael Wilson.
Yep, agree.
Haven't gave up on him yet. Running backs, a couple guys, or one. There's only one guy I like, so I'm just gonna play the game. I do like Roshan, but I think I'm gonna take Chase Brown right here because he only had one game, which was last game, and this might be a little recency bias, but he seems like he is the number 2 in Cincinnati for sure. And Joe Mixon's future with them doesn't. I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't back next year. There's a good chance that he is back.
Right.
But it's about 50-50. And I think if Mixon isn't back, that Chase Brown, they're going to give him ample opportunity to see what he got. They're kind of doing it at the end of this year, and that's the way rookies roll. You got to wait to the second half of the year to see how talented they are, and
Right.
I liked his film. He is talented. He's very fast. You know, he's explosive. So,
Out of Illinois.
yeah, like to
He
take
had
the
a. It's funny we
chance.
did like to take, but he had a lot. He had a heavy workload
Fumbles.
those last. Oh, and fumbles. Heavy
Fumbles.
workload and some fumbles.
Not
Don't
like
get better
Tank
than
Bigsby,
that.
though. It seems like
Nah,
every time he
not
touches the ball.
that motherfucker done really dropped. So at the 211, I'm not gonna go into detail. I'm just gonna say Charbonnet. He's got second round draft capital. Seattle.
Yeah.
You know, I'm kind of
Handcuff.
cooled off on.
Premier
Yeah,
handcuff. And he is a
golly,
great player, though, too.
he is good. Yeah, no doubt.
He was on
It's
another
just
team. He'd be their
yeah.
main guy. I mean,
Kenneth Walker's the man. So who you got at 212, Crab?
212. I'm gonna take a shot at receiver here. All my running backs that I want are gone. Well, damn. There is one more running back that I like. At the 212, I was gonna take a receiver, but I'm gonna go Keaton Mitchell. Actually, switch that up. I'm gonna go Keaton Mitchell over Chase Brown, and then I'm gonna
Right.
go Chase Brown after Keaton Mitchell.
All right. So I'm with you. So Keaton Mitchell, Baltimore. Heck, we just saw a trade go down with Keaton Mitchell in our own dynasty league where he's just kind of thrown in as like a little piece, pretty much. But what do you think about Keaton Mitchell? He's talking about.
I think he's super talented, man.
Yeah.
He's small too. But
Well,
Baltimore, I mean, Gus Edwards is just a goal line back. That is it. And J.K.
yep.
Dobbins coming off an Achilles, you just can't trust. You can't trust a guy coming off an Achilles injury.
Nah.
So
Dobbs ain't even in the mix for me.
they'll draft
mean-
one though. Baltimore will probably draft one on day 2.
So I'm gonna recap it real quick before we talk about. I just want to toss a few more names out, but at the first round, we went Stroud, Bijan, Richardson, Gibbs, Addison, Puka, Tank Dell, A-Chain, JSN, Laporta, Bryce Young, Kincaid. And the second round, at the 201, we went Zay. At the 202, we went Rashi Rice. 203, Will Levis. 204, Jaden Reed. 205, QJ. 206, Michael Mayer. 207, Kendre. 208, Spears. 209, Downs. Then we had Keaton Mitchell at the 210, Charbonnet at the 211, Chase Brown at the 212. You could pretty much.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. Charbonnet doesn't drop that far, but it's crazy.
And if anything, if this episode didn't mean that much to you listening, it at least gave some values on if you want to trade these guys for, you know, that kind of pick. So if you want to trade Tajay for a late second, or you know, you want to trade Zay Flowers for an early second or a late first, you know, I think you can get that done. I think you can trade Zay Flowers for a late first.
Some names that I want to toss out there: Marvin Mims. I
Yep.
think Judy's gonna be gone. Cortland Sutton could be gone. Marvin Mims was drafted by this head coaching regime with Sean Payton. Marvin Mims, I think he's explosive and stuff. I wish they would get him more involved in the offense, but we'll see how it goes. Just been kind of a returner type guy right now, but
yeah. And Jonathan Mingo, he's shown a little bit with Carolina. He might end up being all right. I'm pretty sure Chris would have drafted Mingo if he was in this draft in the second round. I like Jalen Hyatt. He's been playing pretty good, but their quarterback play has been bad. So you could take a primer on him. Cedric Tillman's been getting more playing time with Cleveland. And as far as running backs go, I think we about covered all them. I don't see a whole lot of upside with anybody else, like the Deuce Vaughns, Dwayne McBride, Abanikanda. Some of the guys we covered in the offseason. Tank Bigsby. I still think Tank Bigsby has some
I'd go
value.
buy low on him. Real low.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Bigsby got some value. And Roshan, we didn't get him. Roshan got some upside too. So, but tight ends, we didn't draft Luke Musgrave, which I think is kind of crazy. Probably should have. But
probably, yeah.
Yeah, we probably should have drafted Luke Musgrave. But those are some of the guys. So what did you think about the draft, Matt?
I think I think this class just ended up being better than what we thought. You know, it's funny, these rookie drafts, they don't just pan out. They don't pan out the way especially after 1 year. Don't look how me and you did this shit last year. You know what I'm saying? But it just goes to show you, like, when we do this rookie shit, don't listen to those fucking experts, and don't even listen to me and Kraft if you don't want to. Just go get your fucking guy. I mean, if
Pretty
you
much.
like C.J. Stroud, then you're looking like a genius right now. Heck, if you like Puka, you're looking pretty good. So I say
Looking
just go
really
ahead and
good.
get your guy. So just go get who cares about what these people are saying on these podcasts and shit. Don't overthink it. Just do what you want to do and go pick your guy. That would be my main advice.
Yep.
But
And it's pretty crazy looking at these expert rankings back when, and you see Puka down there behind like A.T. Perry and
right.
Trey Palmer and
Heck, I like A.T. Perry.
yeah, A.T. Perry ain't bad. The guy from Green Bay, Wicks. Wicks
Yeah.
is really he's been good. That's another guy to bring up. And like we said, Michael Wilson, he didn't get drafted. I think there's a
Right.
good future for him
I do
coming
like
up.
Michael Wilson. Yep.
Yeah, and especially with that receiving core they got, he's got ample opportunity to show if he's got it or not.
Right.
But running backs are done. The guys we didn't mention running backs wise, I think, even though the ones we didn't draft, I think are pretty much done.
Right. They're all done. Maybe a Bandicanda one day.
Maybe.
That would be just like the only. Dalvin Cook's out the way. Brees Hall
Sean
goes
Tucker
now.
done. Is he done?
Man, he's done, bro. That dude's been done since the draft.
What about like these receivers? We didn't see no Justin Shorter this year.
None.
What
He's
about
done.
Demario Douglas for New England? Do you have any belief that he could have been like if we did 3 rounds? Do you think he would have been drafted in the 3rd?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
I would imagine so.
And Wicks would have been drafted.
Yep.
So,
But
kind of that was pretty much it though. That kind of shows you that the 3rd round in rookie drafts is kind of
it's a shit
you're
show.
you're better off just picking guys off free agency when the draft's done. You know, just
Right.
get your Puka off the waivers after the 3rd round of the rookie draft goes by, or it's just
crazy.
it's just a long shot.
It is crazy how it's really just a shot in all those rounds is just a shot in the dark, man. Every one of them. I mean, even the first round. This first round don't look nothing like the first round we started off with 5 months ago. Maybe somewhat, but I mean, definitely not in the order.
There was a couple guys that kind of stayed put. Like Zay didn't fall much. Kincaid was kind of right where he belonged, and Laporta rose up. Puka, Tankdale rose way up.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like Addison and Jigba and all them guys kind of held somewhat of their value, and they're still gonna
went way up.
And they're still gonna hold a lot of their value in the offseason. So one thing I like to do really is, while everybody's focused on these rookie drafts, get these 2nd-year players, because we're sitting here talking about Bijan and all these guys, and people are forgetting about Brees Hall and 2nd-year players that you know your Garrett Wilsons and stuff. People are going to want Marvin Harrison way over Garrett Wilson, and is that really what you want to do? You know, you got to ask yourself, like, you know, maybe, but you can get them 2nd-year guys a lot cheaper than you can them rookie guys.
I agree, man. So yeah, me and Kraft will be pumping out the content. Pretty much, we're just in a. We took 2 or 3 weeks off because the holidays came up. We getting ready for the playoffs, and we're a dynasty podcast anyway, so you know
we just do everything, man. We just do what we want to do.
We talk about it all, man. So me and Kraft, we're gonna be bringing it back out again, and we're gonna really be diving in on some of these rookies. Heck, we're gonna be diving in on these 24 rookies here soon. Might post a few times during the NFL play, or heck, we had the fantasy playoffs now. Then the NFL playoffs will be a month away, 3 weeks. So
yeah,
just check you. Add the podcast, and then you'll get the notification if me and Kraft Mad drop another episode.
Yeah.
But anything you want to say to the folks out there, Kraft, before we hop off this episode?
Nothing much. Just good luck to everybody in their playoffs, unless you're playing me. That's all I got to say is,
man, let's go.
I got to win is coming down to it, where you just got to win, or you just
Got
You
to.
don't cry yourself to sleep.
Man, it's funny. The way I feel about this is how I used to. When I was younger, Kraft, when Clemson would lose a game, dude, I wouldn't talk for a whole week, man. I would just be like distraught. I'd go
Same.
lay in bed. Now, this is how it is now in my life with fantasy. Like, if I lose, dude, I'm just gonna turn the phone off and just go
Hey,
to work and then come on.
I feel like I've grown a little bit. I've been playing fantasy for like at least 10 years now. And at the start, it was bad. And I remember as a Packers fan, it'd just be a regular season game like the Giants last week. I remember one day I just slammed the door and I was at my dad's house and made a big ass hole in the wall. And like we just got into it. I was so damn mad that the Packers lost. Had to come spackle this shit back up and fix it. And now the Packers lose, and I'm just like, damn, that sucks. I'm going to sleep. I gotta work
Right.
tomorrow, you know.
Yeah, that shit definitely don't get me now like it used to, and like Clemson losing, and then the Falcons. When you grow up with that shit, it's just another day at the office when they taking L's to backup quarterbacks and shit. You just accept it.
But sometimes with
Just
fantasy, the best
turn.
thing to do is just don't watch. I mean,
Yeah.
I love sitting and watching Red Zone all day long, but damn, there's a lot of reflection going on when you do that. Because if you lose by
Right.
if you lose by a point or two, you're like, my kicker missed a field goal in the third quarter. You know, you get
Right.
into that, and they didn't. One dude scored a touchdown, and they didn't review it, and I'd be going off on that shit. I'm like, Kyler scored. They didn't review it, and then they gave it to James Conner, and that fucked me the whole year.
That shit, I know that shit is crazy. It's like before he hopped on, talking about Christian McCaffrey ran all that way, and then they went and put Mason in. Like, what the fuck, man?
We remember these things, man, and it'll carry on to like June. We'll still be talking about it in June. Remember when McCaffrey ran that thing and he got stuffed at the inch line, and that cost me the championship.
That shit is so crazy, man. But all right, man. Well, shoot, everybody. Thanks for listening to the podcast. Like I said, 5-star review. Just add the podcast and just tell your friends, and we'll hop into our off-season stuff. We'll talk about these rookies, get another startup going, all that shit. So, with that said, we out.
Peace.